We did it. We mastered the instrument. I've taught you everything there is to learn, and you know everything there is to know. Now we can finally play. Now, that being the case, we're going to do a comparison video today. We're going to compare a Gretsch 5622T semi-hollow body with about a half a center block in it. It's got the HiLo'Tron pickups, super HiLo'Tron pickups. And we're going to compare that to a Gretsch 6120 Eddie Cochran model that's got a P90 and a Dynasonic. They're both single coils. The super HiLo'Trons are humbuckers that sound like single coils. Let's give it a shot. All right, so I just wanted to get a side-by-side comparison before I start playing them so you can see like which ones I'm talking about. Here's our Electromatic 5622T, and over here is our 6120 Eddie Cochran model. This one's more friendly on the wallet. This one's a professional model, and they're both awesome. I love them both. These are the humbucking super HiLo'Tron pickups. Here we got a P90. It's like a Gibson style pickup. And here we have the Dynasonic. So these ones are both single coils. These ones are both humbuckers. Let's see what they do. All right, here we are with the Electromatic 5622T. The T stands for tremolo arm. Tremolo. They both have tremolo arms. Now, we were going to check this out acoustically. Acoustically, this one is not very much because, you know, it's not, I mean, it's pretty skinny, right? This is only 1 3/4 inches deep. The other one is 2 3/4 inches deep. Got an extra inch there. Everybody likes an extra inch. So acoustically, check it out. Yeah, it's basically like an electric guitar with that just has a somewhat like more acoustic quality, which is really good for if you just want to be like noodling around on an electric guitar and not have it plugged in. It's really good for that. So let's try. What did we do on the 6120? We did the Johnny Burnett thing, right? We were talking about the pickup qualities, right? The differences, we talked about the differences that the P90 has versus the Dynasonic. On this one, they're both the same. They are super HiLo'Tron pickups, which are humbucking pickups, right? But they kind of sound like single coils. But like these ones, I would describe them as spanky, like really spanky. That was the two of them on at the same time. These like the D, A, and the E string, they sound kind of dead to me. I changed these strings not too long ago, but usually these ones are a little more oomphy, but you can really get an idea of the higher strings. Now, like when I play one of these chords on this guitar, it'll just ring forever. On the 6120, it dies pretty quickly. Now, the Bigsby here has this tension bar. And also, it's not as smooth as the 6120s. It's hard to explain, but it's just not as smooth and free feeling. It still feels like pretty good. I do like it a lot. It's just a little more stiff. It doesn't have as much movement ability. Also, the arm length is smaller. If I hold this straight, see where it comes up to about halfway across our bridge pickup, okay? On the other guitar, on the 6120, it extends about the length of a whole pick. If you hold a pick to the end of it, it comes up to like here. It extends beyond this pickup. It's about a pick length, longer. So you imagine that. Now, I like things and I dislike things about each one as far as its length. If it was up to me, if Gretsch came to me and said, we'll make you a Bigsby however you want, I would ask for an arm that's about half of a pick length longer than this Electromatic one. It will be in between the two guitars as far as its length. Because the cool thing about it being smaller here is when I'm playing, it's just right here. Going on with my jack here, I don't know. I have to look into that. It's just right there. It's really easy to get to. I just have to slightly move my hand and I'm there. On the other guitar, here, let me show you. On the other guitar, and we'll get back to these pickups in just a second. On this one, here, look. See where it goes to? It extends beyond this pickup this way, right? If you hold a pick to the edge of it and you cut it off right here, it's maybe slightly more than a pick. Or no, it probably is about a pick length. It's just that this is a smaller pickup. Yeah, that's what it is. But anyway, so like when I'm playing, my hand is right on it. So it's really good for if you're one of those kind of people who kind of hold it and don't always use it. I don't really know how to do that. That's uncomfortable for me. So I'll kind of like keep it out of the way, like it's down here a little bit more. And then if I need to grab it, I go straight down instead of off to the side to grab it. So that's what I've been getting used to on here. Still easy to get, right? It's just, instead of going over, I go down. And sometimes it's in the way. Which is why I would not ever buy a fixed arm Bigsby. I would not ever buy one of those. That would just, it would like ruin the whole experience for me, I think. So yeah, it's a big difference. But this one is so much smoother. Also has more range of motion, up or down. Anyway, back to the Electromatic. We will grab that again and plug it in. It's already plugged in. And we are going to try out so yeah, like with the 6120, you have the two distinct sounds of each pickup, right? Like the P90 has one sound, it's like completely different. The Dynasonic is completely the other sound. These are both the same pickup, just in different locations, but and then if you put the two on at the same time, you still get a nasally clacky sound. It's just, how would I describe it? All I can really say is these are spanky, spanky, spanky pickups. Oh, but that like nasally sound is not as pronounced as it is when you have the two pickups on that Eddie Cochran guitar. something that I like about the smaller Bigsby is it's easier to do these things. You just have to push harder. Yeah. Anyway, all right, you guys want to rock? I'll turn up some gain a little bit. I don't really like play with a lot of gain very often anymore, but let's just see what it sounds like because it can be pretty fun. noticed on this one here is it just sounds way more clear and crystal sounding when you're doing a lot of like suspended chords and things like that. I'll just do a super small example because I don't want to get all into that, but like if you're doing like that, I wrote something a while back and I used it for my first video on my new recording equipment thing to show off what it sounded like. I did something like this. You know, stuff like that. It sounds so good on this guitar. The other one, it just doesn't have that crystal, really clear sound. It's hard to explain, but it's these pickups. I think. So good, so good. Oh my gosh, I could play that all day. All day. Okay, I don't want to drag this out and make it like 3 hours long. So wrapping this up, I am playing, oh, these are 10.5 gauge strings, by the way. The Electromatic has just regular 10s. So there's like somewhat of a difference, you know, like going back and forth when I'm doing like the country bends. Just little things like that, like the Motorhead Ace of Spades solo was a bit more challenging, slightly, on this guitar, just because of the heavier gauge strings, which aren't even that heavy, but when you're changing from a different one, you feel it, like it's noticeable. And anyway, but that Electromatic sounds really good with distortion, as does this. So it's really just personal taste and like using it as a tool for what suits the song, right? It's not like one is like a better sound than the other. It's just, what do I need to hear, or what am I in the mood to hear for a particular song or sound, right? It's just, it's all personal preference. Yeah, that Electromatic is freaking great. It's a great guitar. And this one now is my go-to just because it's my personal preference. So let me show you the amp I'm playing on, and then I guess we'll just wrap it up. I've never done a comparison video like this, so there's probably stuff I missed. Probably not going to have things side by side the way that other people's comparison videos are. Who cares? It's just for fun, right? All this is just for fun. So let me show you the amp I'm playing on. The lighting is not that great. I wish I had some more reflective surfaces in here to get some better lighting, but you get the idea, okay? Look, I'll stand next to it so you can see how tall it is. This is me, right? And that's how tall it is. Comes up to just under my knee. I'm 5'6", so it's, yeah, that's a comparison. And here, I'll show you the top. Bum, 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 grabbing the light, grabbing the camera. Yeah, it's going to be hard to see this, but yeah, just, you know, standard. It's got a tremolo, which is cool. No standby. Got an effects loop. I've never used it. And I never use any of my effects loops. But yeah, it's just like, it's a 2-channel amp with a boost on the 30 channel. And Yeah, PV. I don't know if you can see that. Delta Blues. Made in Mississippi. I guess it's the Mississippi Delta, right? That's why they call it that, I guess. Anyway. Alright, I wanted to show you guys some absolutely clean tones. I got my amp on the clean channel right now, and this guitar in particular, these two pickups, man, they sound and shine really good in overdrive settings, but also it's just something that has to be said about the clean channel and how they just really cut through. They're so crystal clear. I love it. And like I was saying, like the sound of old records, man, it just, that's what I hear when I play this guitar. It sounds so good to me. So here's 100% clean. Like, you hear all the top end on that? Like, even if I put it on my neck pickup, like, you hear all that top end even on a bass pickup? Oh, I messed up. Whoa. man, that wasn't that good. All right, man. I'm starting to make mistakes now. Let's go to the other guitar. Whoa. what I was doing there. But anyway, you can hear how when I'm on our neck pickup, our bass pickup, it doesn't have the same sound as the Gretsch. Obviously, because, you know, if I had two Dynasonics, it may be also different. But that P90 really changes the sound of that Gretsch, right? It has that open, airy, woody quality where, like, so when I'm on my bass pickup here and I'm trying to do that suspended chord stuff, like... It still sounds spanky, but I mean, it sounds Gretchy. It sounds very Gretchy, but it's just really, it's really different, which is why I keep both guitars, right? Like, I don't want to sell this. I love this guitar. I love this guitar. Love this guitar, man. And something I'll say is, for a like budget guitar, you know, I paid out the door in 2019, out the door total after tax, I paid $620 for this. You can get these probably for like $550. Now, this is the made in Korea version of this guitar. The newer ones of this 5622T in this color and everything are made in China. This one is Korea. Also, the difference is this one has the super HiLo'Tron pickups. The newer ones have like a Broadtron pickup, I believe. See, these say G Super, Gretsch Super, Super HiLo'Tron. I can't really speak about the other pickups that are in the Chinese model ones, but these ones are awesome. I love these. They're so spanky sounding. Something like that. Something like that. The action is great. It plays very easy to play. The playability is awesome in this thing. I love it. Let's cut to another scene and get out of here. All right, acoustically, really quick, you'll be picking this up from this mic here. Now, acoustically, the sound is drastically different. This guitar obviously is a lot, it's louder, and it just sounds really good, especially if you hold it away from your body. A lot of sound comes out the back. You probably won't be able to hear this on our microphone here, but like, I notice especially when I hold like a 6/9 chord, specifically an A69, because it's kind of like centered in our neck. Like it's not all the way down here, it's not all the way up here, where the string tension up here is a lot higher. For some reason, like right in this area, I'll call it the A, it really rings out acoustically. And if I hold it away from my body, like if I go, now if I hold it against my body, I'm only hearing sound that's coming out, well, out of the F holes and off the top. If I hold it apart, I can hear that come off the back as well. It sounds really good. You know, like in like real life. In real life, it sounds really good. Now, something that I noticed, we'll turn the volume up now. And we'll do the same thing with the Electromatic 5622. But something that I noticed a lot is this guitar does not have nearly as much sustain as the Electromatic. The sustain on the Electromatic, the cheaper one, is much more. But I think that's because it's not completely hollow. It has that about half of a center block. What is it? It starts about here. I'm talking about the other guitar now. It has a center block that starts like where the neck ends and goes down to the tail. It has much more sustain. This one does not have as much sustain, but I think everyone knows that. That's what they expect from a hollow body. But now something that I noticed with this guitar, since it has the P90 and a Dynasonic, you split that difference in the center position from middle position, right? And every guitar has that kind of like quacky, like a nasally sound. But on this guitar, with like for these pickups in particular, when you combine the two of these at the same time, it's way more pronounced than other guitars that I've played. Like you can hear it especially in the middle position when you play like Johnny Burnett's Lonesome Train. Like anything on these like bigger strings, right? As opposed to like just the P90. Like just the P90, it's more earthy, woody. It's little, I guess you could say creamier sounding, but it's still like, like percussive in a way. It's just a lot more woody sounding with just the P90. Splitting in between the two. And then, of course, with just a Dynasonic, just the P90. And then the two combined. The two pickups. I forget what I did. Just the P90. But when I got this guitar and I plugged it in, I'm using the PV Delta Blues. I'll show it to you in a second. But like when I got this guitar and I plugged it in and started playing it, I was like, man, this is the sound from records. This is the sound that's on so many like classic recordings, records, right? Like I was playing the Dynasonic, like. I'm like, holy crap, it's so clean and articulate. Whoa! Right? Like. Man, I gotta practice my sweep picking. It was just like the P90 was kind of different from the P90s that I have in my guild, which are Franz P90s. This is Lindy Fralin. But yeah, it was just like when I plugged it in, I really noticed like, man, this is the sound from classic records. It's not an imitation. It's the real deal. It was so refreshing to my ears. I couldn't put it down. I still can't put it down. All right, I just wanted to give a quick side-by-side comparison about the body depth. Here we got the Electromatic at 1 3/4 inches, and then the 6120 at 2 3/4 inches. And also, for the back, they're both completely sealed off, right? But also, if you look at this angle right here, look at where the neck meets with the body. Okay, like on this, it's more like a violin where it hangs over the neck hangs over the body, right? And it has an air gap in here. On the Electromatic, it's joined with the body. It's like an electric guitar, right? That probably, I would imagine, has to do with the Electromatic having like way more sustain. You got that. And then look at the 6120. You see that? How it hangs over. Now, if people are watching this who are Gretsch people, you probably know all this stuff already, but, you know, for someone else who may be thinking about getting one, you know, it's just good stuff to know. And then also, like I was saying, the Bigsby, like this one is like a standard Bigsby, like a B6 or whatever, BC6, something like that, like whatever it's called. This one has the tension arm where the strings go under it. It gives it like more of a break angle from the bridge to go down to here. Keeps a break angle. Oh, I cut myself on my finger. Also, this one has a Tune-o-matic style bridge. This one has a compensated bridge with a wood base. Also, this is a floating bridge. I can take this and just slide it anywhere. It's not like pinned down or bolted down or anything. It's just like a violin or a cello. It'll just slide. So if you take all the strings off, the bridge just like it just falls off. So it's just the tension of the strings that hold this onto the body. Yeah, you can get a better view of it right there. I really love both of these. Like, I remember the day that I got this one here, I had never had a hollow body or a semi-hollow body. I had never owned a guitar with F-holes, and I was so excited. I was like on cloud 9. I was like crazy excited, and it played so good, still plays so good. And then I had the exact same feelings when I got my 6120, because you know, a little bit of a backstory. I'm 42 years old, and I've been playing since I was 13. Played in bands and all kinds of stuff, and I've not ever owned a professional guitar, right? And it's like one of those things where it's like I practiced all my life. I tried to get as good as I could, played in bands, but I just never owned like a pro model guitar. So getting the 6120 was a really big deal for me. And I just love it. I love both of them, but it's definitely something I'll keep forever if I can help it. And I used to hate the inlays and the style of the Western motif on these. And I've grown to really love it. I lived in Arizona for about 20 years. So I have been all like Arizona'd out. I mean, I guess you could say. I still love it. I live in West Virginia now, and I've lived all over the place: Colorado, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Virginia, West Virginia. But I love the Western stuff now. Love the style of this with the G brand, the cattle brand, you know. Oh, also for the Bigsby, it's the, see, this one has like the blackout enamel. It's cool. I already have that, and I was really happy to get something kind of different. The, oh, I also used to hate the gold appointments as well. Now, I love the gold. I love the gold. Like this one has the chrome or like silver or whatever all over, right? And this one has the gold. And I love the gold now. I was actually shopping around to see if I could get a pickup cover that was not gold and like change the knobs and everything, but now I just love it. I love it. And I love the clear pick guard too. And I put a tiny spacer underneath here because when I got this, the P90 was pretty quiet, really quiet actually, and I had to make the volume go up. So I put a little spacer under there. I bought 3 different size spacers, and I used, I think, the smallest one because I used the one that was one step up, and it was just too loud after that. I like how this has the colored headstock. It's got the Eddie Cochran signature. Oh, it has a brass nut. I was like completely unaware of that until it arrived. And I was like, whoa, it's got a brass nut. Like, no wonder it's so twangy. And these cool inlays, steer head. And then like this one here, of course, it has the black headstock. The Electromatics, I think all the Electromatics have a black headstock. I have the truss rod cover, but I was making adjustments and then I lost the screws. I still have the cover though, it's in the case. I just need to put it back on. See, this one has, I think, a Graphtec nut. I don't think it's plastic. I don't think it's made from animal bone. I think it's some kind of synthetic material like graphite or I think it's called Graphtec. But this has the thumbnail inlays, right? It's like a thumbnail. Like a thumbnail. Whereas this one has the Western stuff. Also, the Eddie Cochran model has really tiny frets. It's called I think they call them like vintage small and narrow frets. You can tell when you're playing it. It's like they're small, which apparently is not as good for like country bends. I mean, you heard me doing them though. Like, you can still do them. What I like about it though is like when you're fretting the big cowboy chords, like an E or like an open position G. So, you know, like if you're playing a guitar that has huge jumbo frets, like my Guild, if you push down too hard, it goes out of tune. It goes sharp. Because like, okay, on a jumbo fret, hang on a second, I'm going to put the camera down. All right, so when you fret a note, you push down on the string. Here's an F sharp, okay? Now, when I push that down, if I push that string down and play that F sharp, the string is not in contact with the fretboard. Like there's still a gap of air underneath the string. If I had a tiny enough sliver of material, I could slide it under there while still fretting this note, and it would ring out. What the string is in contact with when you fret the note is the actual fret wire. That's what the string is making contact with in order to make a note sound, okay? So when I fret that note, if I push too hard, it'll go sharp. Watch, I'll do it. You hear that? You hear that? Now, that's just one note, but in the context of harmony, when you're playing, I don't know if this is in tune or not. It's not in tune, but in the context of a whole chord, when all those frequencies are ringing out together, if you push down too hard with just, say, like 1 or 2 fingers, it throws that whole chord off, and those frequencies are going to be like really like rubbing each other the wrong way, and it's going to sound like very, very out of tune. So if you have a tall fret, so these are taller and wider, but if you have a tall fret, then you have that extra space underneath the string, and if you push too hard, you're going to push it sharp. Now on the Gretsch, it has those vintage small or narrow and short frets. Let's see if I can get it here. I don't know if you could like see this like visually, but they're a lot smaller. When you pick it up to play it, you know it's noticeable. It's a noticeable difference. So since they're not as tall, you still can, if you push too hard, make it go sharp, but it's not as drastic at all. It's just a tiny bit. And I find myself not pushing as hard because it's just not it's not as much of like an opportunity to push hard because you don't have all that space. Right? It's like it's either on or off. And I like that because that's a problem for me because I guess I have a heavy hand. I don't know. I grew up playing punk rock when I first started playing guitar, like Ramones and stuff like that. And yeah, that's just something that I liked about, and I still like about these smaller frets is what I just explained. And then look, I love the brass nut. I love that it has a brass nut. I had never seen a guitar with a brass nut before. I didn't even know it had it until it got here. And I was like, whoa! I noticed it, like, holy crap, that's awesome. It's really cool. And then, of course, this Eddie Cochran Pro Model one is made in Japan. Let's see here. Let's see if we can see that. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it. Oh, it's down here. You got to get like a... I don't know if you can see it or not in the actual camera. Oh yeah, but here's the back. And I keep my strap on all the time. So this thing does not ever go back in the case anymore because of the strap. Because like with the Gretsch strap buttons, it's like this on both guitars. Like these things actually unscrew, and there's a stud with like screw threads that sticks up. So I just unscrewed that, put the strap on, and then I screwed that straight down. So it's like having strap locks is what it exactly is, because I can't take this over that huge knob right there. And this one is the same way. It's just like silver. What I did on this Electromatic, like not very long after I got it, I had it for maybe like a month or two. And the one at the very bottom by the tailpiece, it was all stripped out, and it was the stud that screws into the guitar body. Like the hole was all stripped out. So what I did is I took that off. I left the tailpiece on, but I took off the button, and I took out the stud, and I drilled it out like with a drill. And then I put a piece of a barbecue skewer, like it's sort of like a toothpick, right? Like I took a chunk of a barbecue skewer and wood glue, some tight bond, and I stuck that in there, waited for it to dry, and then I screwed it back in. I don't know if I had to like re-drill a smaller hole. I think I probably just screwed the stud back in, and then I was able to get the strap button back on, and I have not ever had a problem since. That was in 2019. It's now 2025. But yeah, man, I love these guitars. I'm not ever giving this one away if I don't have to. I'm gonna keep this until I die. I love this thing. I'm gonna wrap this up. Oh yeah, and for the cases, you know, it comes with, so this is the 6120s one, it comes with the Gretsch case, and it looks exactly the same as the case from my Electromatic. It's the same case. So that's why I put the stickers on it. So I would know like which one is for the 6120, because I think the inside is slightly different. But yeah, I'm about ready to wrap this up here. I told my nephew that this is real lava, and he believes me. He's 4 years old, so I got him the exact same one for Christmas. He thinks it's real lava from a volcano from the time of the dinosaurs. So we sat for like over an hour and watched that thing. Like we waited for it to heat up, and then we sat there and watched the bubbles on Christmas. Check this out. Yeah. Hang on a second. I got a UFO. Oh. Check out this ET thing. So when my grandpa died, me and my cousins and my brothers went to the back like tool shed in the back of his yard. And we went through a ton of boxes. And my aunt said we could take whatever we wanted. So I grabbed this. I don't know why that was in there. But like, I don't know what this is. It's just this. And it doesn't come out. But yeah, I have this ET thing. And the shark is a real shark. I've had this since I was 10 years old. Got it at the beach in a shop. It had a cork bottom, but it broke off. But I've never opened it, but I have always wanted to open this and look at it. It's in formaldehyde or something. I've always wanted to open this and look at it. And I got a DeLorean from Back to the Future. I don't know why I'm showing you guys this stuff. I don't think you care. But look, you can pull it back. And it goes. Yeah, okay. And this is a radio. It works. It's a tube radio. It has like 15 tubes in the back. I took the back panel off, but it's AM only. But it's not plugged in right now. It's cool though, because this lights up. And then you have like a, I don't know what this does. It's like a high volume and like low volume kind of a boost. I don't know what it does, but I got all my VHSs. That's not all of them. I got a lot more VHSs. And Beethoven. Got that at a thrift store for like $10 probably. The Misfits, Walk Among Us. Who are those girls? Oh, that's Motley Crue. Those are guys. Freddie Mercury. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, check this out. On one of my pictures hanging up. See, what I did is I bought all these frames from a yard sale. I got like 20 of them for like $2 or something like that. And then I take pages from magazines and I put them in there, and it looks like I have a really expensive picture, but really it's like super cheap. But anyway, this is an ad for Gretsch guitars for the 6120, right? And check this out. So like here is the two Dynasonics. Like on mine, I have a Dynasonic in my bridge, just like that, right? Or I should say just like this one. Here, we'll use this one as an example. So mine is just like this. Exact same everything. Look at the headstock. It's got the brass nut. It's got the steer head logo. But on this one, it's got the two Dynasonics. Hold on. I got to wait for this to focus here. There we go. Okay, it's got the two Dynasonics. Mine has a P90 in our neck position. So I wonder what that would sound like with like two Dynasonics just in different positions. I've never owned one, or I've never even played one like that. I've played a White Falcon before, but I had HiLo'Trons. Some White Falcons have Dynasonics, but yeah, I don't know in real life what a neck position Dynasonic sounds like. Adrian White, if you're watching this, I know that you had one like that. And here we got a HiLo'Tron version with the two switches for pickup selector, but it also has a 0 fret. See, mine doesn't have the 0 fret. Anyway, oh, and then we got George Harrison. He's got the Country Gentleman Gretsch, right? I got that from a magazine too. The cool things you can do with just a little bit of I don't know, like thinking about stuff. Check this out. One of the people, I won't say names, but someone from the Gretsch group on social media for Facebook, like it was like way back in 2019. It was when we were like rolling through COVID, when 2020 happened, for Christmas. In the mail, sent me an ad. It's like a print from an ad from a magazine from the 60s. I think it's from 1961 or 62, I think. And it's pretty big. Look, like this is the size of my hand. It's a big one. I love that. I don't know why I'm showing you guys all this stuff. I'm just killing time. I got this at an antique store. St. Louis Blues. That's who's that? P.D. Wheatgrass, I think. I didn't even know who this guy was. I just liked the song, St. Louis Blues, and I liked his guitar. Looks like an old, something like a National maybe. It's got that honeycomb. I don't know about the headstock, if it's a National or not. I'm not an expert on those things, but I didn't know who this guy was. I just thought it was cool. And then just last year, like half a decade ago, it was like half a decade after I bought this, I actually asked the question on social media, does anyone know who this guy is? And people were like, yes, P.D. Wheatgrass, or whatever his name is. And I looked him up, and he's good. I'm not an expert in him either, but anyway. Yeah, and then, so on my Guild, these are P90 pickups as well, but these are like a version by Guild. They're called Franz P90s, like F-A-R-A-N-Z, Franz P90s, and these sound really good. Really good. I love the sound of these, but it doesn't sound anything like the Lindy Fralin pickup in my Gretsch. It sounds very different. They still sound like P90s, but they just have a very different sound. And I learned about these. Like I had seen people playing this model online. It's a Guild X175 Manhattan, and I liked it, but it wasn't until I watched Damian Bocci playing one in one of his videos, and I was like, yo, dude, that guitar sounds so good. And he was like, yeah, you probably need a Guild X175 Manhattan. And I was like, yeah, I think you're right. And then like 2 weeks later, or like a month later, I bought one. I ordered this. And I got a really good deal on this too. I paid like like $500 for this thing. And this is actually larger than the 6120. On the 6120, for the lower bout, side to side, on a 6120 Gretsch, it's 16 inches. So this one is 17 inches. It's like a White Falcon size, 17 inches. Same as a White Falcon. The depth on this is 3 inches. For the Gretsch 6120 back here, it's 2 3/4. So this is 3 inches and then 17 inches. So this is a bigger guitar. Also, what's cool about this is, well, okay, so my preference is having a pickup selector switch up here, where like a Gretsch or like a Les Paul is. I like having it here because it's easy access. It just looks cool, I think, down here. Also, having like your knobs down here is a pain in the ass to me. I love having a master volume right here, like on a Gretsch. So I much prefer how a Gretsch is laid out. Oh, and then I've had this off, the nut here, and this is bone. This is from some kind of animal bone. I'm not sure what kind of animal. Also, I have the truss rod cover. Again, I lost the screws, but I have the cover. It's in the case. I just need to pick up some screws. I like the tuners on this a lot. Same as the Electromatic. I really like the tuners on these because they tune slow. Like you spin them, and I don't know, like, it's hard to explain. How do I explain it? It's like, it has a different, like, ratio, whereas, like, on the 6120 here, you don't have to turn as much, and it changes the pitch of the string more. So let me say that again. You turn it a tiny bit, and like, the pitch of the note, it changes quicker, right? On these two guitars, you have to turn it for longer, like for the pitch to change, which I like because it's easier to get small increments, super fine tuning, right? And this one is not like so dramatic. It's just I noticed a difference. That's the only reason I'm saying it. So anyway, man, I got to get out of here. I will see you guys next time. And until then, you just keep on picking.